Got it. Okay, let me. Should I? All right, can y'all see the? Y'all can see everything, right? Can I be heard? Hmm.
05, I can see you, but I'm driving now. But
No, I said,
I took a quick glance. I can see you though.
I don't know. I said, can I be heard? Not seen. Just be
Yes,
heard.
you could
Oh
be
yeah,
heard,
yes, yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay.
and I can see. I'll help you. Just keep-
Okay. Oops. All right. Let's do it. Let's go.
Like a really traumatic situation where this guy, where he was just like so fucking horrible to me and he just treated me like a stupid black bitch. And it was like so painful for me, and everybody was like, well, you're the fucking dumbass because you stayed, and you're just a stupid black bitch because you let him treat you like one. And like, I know that the situation was my fault because I should have just left, but like, it really fucking hurt because like, I had sex with him and he basically just like used me for sex. He was like white guy in a frat. And so basically I ended up seeing him at Target when I was there with my old best friend like at the time. And he wouldn't look me in the eyes. He wouldn't say anything. It was like he was ashamed of me and just like embarrassed. Which is like how most people get about me, and it was like so fucking painful. And so I stood up for myself and said what I needed to say to him. And he ran away from me when I was speaking to him. And my friend was like, that's humiliating. Like, she was like, you just embarrass yourself, and like, that's pathetic for you as a black woman to do something that stupid. Like, it hurt so fucking bad because I wasn't even worth being looked in the eye. Like, it hurt so fucking bad. And looking back, and that was the guy who, like, when I asked him to stop during sex, he held me down. Like, that happened a few months after the Target situation. And I was like telling my friends, I was like, I'm just fed up being treated like this. It's like every person that I would run into would do this shit to me, like take advantage of me. And they were like, then just don't be a stupid black bitch with a fat ass. And it was like so painful for me. Cause I feel like if I tell anybody, they'll just tell me to stop being a stupid slut. And it's like, this is like the last place, because like I can't talk to my friends about it, like I can't talk to my parents about this, and like my therapist doesn't understand. Like, I'm in so much pain right now. Like, it was already difficult enough as it is. Like, I wish growing up I didn't hate myself.
That was really intense start if you do not understand racism. Oh wow, hold on everyone. I have just jeez. I have to change my storage space. Just ran out of space on my computer. I have to change the settings, so we'll save somewhere else really quick because it's not recording anymore, and I don't want to just have a YouTube copy. So give me a second. I am gonna play that clip again as well, because I have to. It's just where are we gonna save these at now? Appreciate the patience. Okay, I should already have this. All right, y'all. Taking it from the top. Huh. Alrighty. Greetings. All the technical difficulties to have. Greetings, everyone. Today we are discussing the dangers and confusion around Area 8, sex. And I'm gonna play one of the many clips I will be sharing today.
Like a really traumatic situation where this guy, where he was just like so fucking horrible to me and he just treated me like a stupid black bitch. And it was like so painful for me, and everybody was like, well, you're the fucking dumbass because you stayed.
Oops, parental discretion advised. There's a lot of swearing, cursing, and foul language used, but it's for educational purposes. We're not here to make fun of this victim of racism. We are here to provide constructive information of how to prevent such situations like this from happening on planet Earth. So I'm gonna continue. That's like the discretion, educational purpose. And let's go.
And you're just a stupid black bitch because you let him treat you like one. And like, I know that the situation was my fault because I should have just left, but like, it really fucking hurt because like I had sex with him and he basically just like used me for sex. He was like white guy in a frat. And so basically I ended up seeing him at Target when I was there with my old best friend like at the time. And he wouldn't look me in the eyes. He wouldn't say anything. It was like he was ashamed of me and just like embarrassed. Which is like how most people get about me, and it was like so fucking painful. And so I stood up for myself and said what I needed to say to him. And he ran away from me when I was speaking to him. And my friend was like, that's humiliating. Like she was like, you just embarrass yourself, and like that's pathetic for you as a black woman to do something that stupid. Like, it hurt so fucking bad because I wasn't even worth being looked in the eye. Like, it hurt so fucking bad. And looking back, and that was the guy who, like, when I asked him to stop during sex, he held me down. Like, that happened a few months after the Target situation. And I was, like, telling my friends, I was like, I'm just fed up being treated like this. It's like every person that I would run into would do this shit to me, like, take advantage of me. And they were like, then just don't be a stupid black bitch with a fat ass. And it was, like, so painful for me. Because I feel like if I tell anybody, they'll just tell me to stop being a stupid slut. And it's like, this is like the last place, because like I can't talk to my friends about it, like I can't talk to my parents about this, and like my therapist doesn't understand. Like I'm in so much pain right now, like it was already difficult enough as it is. Like I wish growing up I didn't hate myself.
Okay, so we just watched victim of racism, Samara, describe an interaction she had with a white man whom she had went to the bedroom with, aka had sex with, or like I like to use counter racist language, codify language. The correct term to use in this case is she was raped. She was raped by a white man. And before we get into the text, into the books, let's hear what else she has to say on this situation, because we will be studying her words and trying to eliminate a lot of her confusion, because I suspect many victims of racism, Black males and Black females, may be experiencing similar and ordeals such as we just saw on, like we just witnessed. So let's get on to the next one.
I just want to clarify, a lot of people are saying, was that your boyfriend? Did you guys break up? Did you leave him? Like, what ended up happening? Basically, I just want to clarify, for 8 months, I was sex before, when we had sex before, it did become painful, and I had told him. He stopped automatically, but there was one time where I just want to clarify, a lot of people are saying, was that your boyfriend? Did you guys break up? Did you leave him? Like, what ended up happening? Basically, me and him were just like hooking up. I had known him for 8 months. Me and him had hooked up on and off for 8 months. We were just like friends with benefits. We weren't really, and the thing is, I really trusted this person. Like, he knew that I was sexually assaulted in the past. I knew that he was sexually assaulted in the past. We knew a lot of personal information about each other, and we were getting to a point where we were really close in our relationship. And before, when we had sex before, it did become painful, and I had told him. He stopped automatically, but there was one time where he just kept going for a little bit longer, which I found was kind of weird. And so I pushed him off of me, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why the fuck would you do something like that? And he was like, no, like, I heard you. I was trying to like get off of you. I just was like trying to gather myself, but that should have been the automatic red flag. But yeah, I was never with him, and I'm not in contact with him anymore. He's not blocked or anything, but he does message me on Snapchat, like, to say happy birthday, or he just, because this happened in the beginning of May, it's now the end of June, but he wished me happy birthday, and he said hi, but I just ignore him. I don't know. I mean, there's like hundreds of comments. I mean, I've read every comment, every single one, but there's like hundreds of comments telling me that, and I don't know. I just initially, after it happened, I just thought that it was a really weird situation. I didn't want to overreact or anything. Like, I'm fine. I mean, it happened in the beginning of last month. Like, I'm good. I just stay away from that person. We don't go to school, luckily. Because I feel like if we went to school together, because we're both in college, he's like in a fraternity. I don't know. Like, he just thinks he's so above everything else, and that he can do no wrong. He doesn't lose any sleep at night over it. So I just was like, whatever. If he lets it go, I let it go. He's just very entitled, and like, I don't know, like, he comes from money. Like, his parents just like bought him a new BMW. He just thinks he's like so, I don't know, and he acts like he made it out the mud and out the dirt. Like, he had a hard life and grew up in the six. He's just irritating.
Okay, again, she's talking about a white man, and I think this is a terrifyingly tragic example of the damage that white supremacy does to the minds of victims, because she literally mentions how she was raped by this man, but yet she's unable to use those words. She's unable to understand that, because the white supremacists have trained us to think that sex with a white person is possible. It's not sex, it's just rape, it's just experimental sex, if anything. And this victim, after that encounter, if you're paying attention to the words she used, after that encounter that she had with the white man in a Target, that triggered her to have the outburst and her to cry and make this video telling us what happened. She had sex with him after that. She after she saw him at Target, she met up with him again. But the incident at Target can be definitely understood more if you understand that first of all, this book is called, the book that I will be referencing is called Pieces of a Puzzle: The One Thing Black Females Will Not Talk About. And I do appreciate Victim Racism Samara for talking about her experiences with this white man. But in this text, Miss Tate, the author, Renita Tate, she mentions this how white men and black females have a secret, and I'm sure black males as well have a secret with the white supremacists. We all do, especially those of us who refuse to talk about the race problem. But in this case, Area 8, white men often do not like to let it be known that they are sexually engaging with a black female, which is possibly why that he ran away from her. And I think it's really just a really interesting, definitely a racist act, of course, for him to even have sex with her in the first place. But for him to literally run away from her because he did not want to be seen with her or to be known with that guy who had sex with a victim of racism, just really interesting, really tragic. And her story is really similar to this author's story. Let me go ahead and read it. So she mentions how she was having sex with the white man, being raped by the white man, because in the system of white supremacy, non-white people are children and white people are the adults in this system. Therefore, it's like a person having sex with a baby. So it's always rape. And if you think otherwise, then you are probably into some incorrect things. Anywho, her story of how she was raped is very similar to Miss Tate's story. How at first, they were having sex, and then it just starts hurting and gets aggressive, and she wants it to stop. She asked it to stop, but it doesn't stop. Miss Tate didn't ask for it to stop, but she wanted it to stop. Samara, victim of racism, Samara, in the video, she asked for it to stop, but she had to push him off, according to what she said. So let me read from. Okay, so this is on page 15 from Pieces of a Puzzle, and this is how the story is very similar. And I'm pointing out the similarities because there's a pattern of racist behavior that victims of racism must be able to identify and understand so we can avoid them. And the easiest way to avoid the dangers and confusion of Area 8 is to understand the system of white supremacy, and most importantly, to stay out of bed with white people as long as the system exists. So on page 15, Ms. Tate writes, and she refers to this white man as White Jesus. And she does that because she mentions how we have been trained to literally worship white people with the whole imaging God as white and Jesus as white. So this is why she refers to this racist rapist as a white Jesus. I looked at him and remembered he was tall. He was a tall, thin white man, and his penis was light in color. Then in about 2 seconds, he was on top of me. To this day, I don't remember him ever kissing me, and I could not see his face at the time because he was taller than me. His entry into my body was gentle, but once he got inside of me, he was he went on like a wild man. He began pushing and pushing. He was very violent and rough. He started pounding on me. He was hurting me. It hurts, please stop, I said to myself. I was crying out, but no one could hear. I never said anything to him because I was too scared. It was like he was trying to violently kill me. All I thought to myself at the time was that I'll be so glad when this is over. I knew that he would not be able to continue at this pace for long. Without reaching a climax, I laid there holding my body stiff as a rock. I said to myself, please hurry up, and I will never, ever do this again. At this point, he shifted his body and I could see his face. I was watching him closely and waiting for the expression on his face to change because I knew then it would be all over. I was not a virgin at this time when I had sex with this white man, And I knew this was not the way black males had sex with me. The pain I experienced with this white man was a pain that I never knew or ever experienced with sexual intercourse. With black males, there was always a pleasing vibration I would receive from being penetrated. It was finally over. It was not like the white Jesus was inside of me for long, but the pain of it all seemed to last forever. After he finished, he got off of me, but the way he got off of me stayed with me for a long time. He got off of me like I was a piece of trash or like he had gotten off of dirt. I remember feeling like I had a disease. He crossed over me and laid down. By this time, I was just observing him. I was wide awake. The next thing I noticed, he had turned his back towards me, then a cold feeling rushed through my body. Finally, I fell off to sleep. So this happened decades ago, but it's such a similar story to what happened to victim racism Samara. And this is because white men and white women, they have been practicing this racial aggression, this racist aggression in the form of against us in the form of sex since they have contacted us. And people always like to justify interracial relationships with black males and white people. People like to justify interracial relationship between white people and non-white people, saying, you know, like love is love, and like it's gonna help to solve the race problem. But we had white people have been having sex with us since they've encountered us. They had sex with us, raped us during slavery, and didn't do anything to get us out of slavery at all. And it's not gonna do anything to for us to solve this problem. If anything, I suspect if all non-white people actually say, you know what, nope, I'm not gonna have sex with this white person. I'm not gonna engage this white person in any matter other than I got to work on the plantation for my 9 to 5 and solving the race problem. No more sex. Only thing I want to do is solve this race problem, or allow me to do my plantation work so I can exist in this hellhole you have allowed to happen. But if we all said no more sex between white people, perhaps we would really we'll get them to solve this problem. Or for the folks who are really confused, when they start raping us again violently, overtly, and not this refined way that they do it now, while calling it sex and love and romance and all this nonsense. But this is yeah, I think I'll pause there to see if folks have anything to share. I do have much more to comment on regarding what we just discussed.
As far as the young lady who shared her traumatic experience, I think that was the most accurate term she used when at the very beginning about it being a traumatic experience. Well, she didn't exactly use that word, but she did use the word traumatic. On page, I want to read from the code, area 6, page 275. The remarks and suggestions made herein are made with the intention of being helpful and producing constructive results pertaining to non-white people and their sexual arrangements during the existence of the system of white supremacy. It is important to know and to understand that during the existence of and because of the system of white supremacy, no sexual arrangements of any kind will be what it should be. To expect it to be what it should be, to expect it to be what it should be is to invite disappointment and or unnecessary confusion and conflict. And that's definitely what I saw in that video, with both videos of the young lady. I mute myself for now.
Thank you. Exactly. Thanks for reading that. I'm going to also continue on with pieces of a puzzle. because she does an excellent job at describing sex between white people and non-white people as being incorrect. And when a white person is doing it, it's most certainly a racist attack. And I just appreciate this victim because Miss Tate was a confused victim who wanted to understand why things between white people and non-white people were incorrect. And her journey, I mean, and her work to understand that led her to produce this very, very, very constructive book. And also, she learned from her being raped by a white man, and it definitely encouraged her to want to solve the problem, which is Black self-respect to the maximum degree. So this is from page 27, pieces of a puzzle. From the code, I learned white men who choose to engage in sex with Black females are practicing racism against us through the use of sex. The white Jesus not only used sex in his practice of racism and white supremacy, but he also used deceitful words against me. Now the code states the chief characteristic of a racist man or woman is deceit. Based on that, I realized this white man had planned all along to do this to me. This was his hidden agenda. The code also states as long as racism and white supremacy exists, no Black females or males should have sex with white people. I was raped by a skilled professional rapist. And throughout the years, white people as racists have become skilled in their practice of racism and white supremacy. With the help from the code, I found the answer to my long-aged question. Why were white people so hostile towards Black people? Well, as it turns out, this is just another technique racist white men and women use to maintain control over their victims. You see, it's called keeping Black people in line. Once I got rid of my anger, I then looked at this information I had, but I did not know how to present it. So I told my friend, and she said, start with your story, just tell your story. All right, so Black self-respect right there, and also her understanding, just the racism. I love her, not love, because I highly appreciate her use of racist man and woman. She is very much aware that this is a tactic used by racist men and racist women, because that is also a piece of the puzzle. Racist women also often go unmentioned, but they're also confusing and sabotaging Black males and Black females. And as you'll see throughout this broadcast, go ahead, Mr. Ray 1/0.
Oh, Five, is it okay that I read a paragraph from page 29? It really stuck out to me here.
I would definitely appreciate it. Go ahead, sir.
Sure. Thank you. This is page 29 from Pieces of a Puzzle. Our ancestors were programmed to like white people and dislike themselves. As a result of this, Black people began to value the same things that white people valued, but it wasn't for us. It was against us. Black people then began to pass down what little they knew from generation to generation. But Black people were not given that much information to pass down. The slaves did not ask questions out of fear that they would be killed. Back then and today, Black people still do not ask enough questions. And this is why Black people remain in the mental state of children. Asking questions help our minds to develop, but the racist white men are busy working toward keeping Black people in a childlike state. What the racists do is make it very difficult for Black people to obtain information and knowledge, the knowledge we need to help us become men and women. White people will often call Black people as boys and girls when they want to offend Black people. Nevertheless, Black people did not agree and wanted white people to refer to them as men and women. but this is simply not true because Black people are heavily dependent on white people. As a matter of fact, white people now have it to where all non-white people on this planet are heavily dependent on them. That's all. Thank you, sir.
And that's a really, I think, thank you for reading that, because that goes back to what I mentioned earlier, how we are children. And it's not just, I'm just saying we're children. Like, white people came up with a method of making us children, of inferiorizing us and retarding us and sabotaging us and conditioning us and niggerizing us to this condition that we are in right now in 2021, the conditions that produces behaviors such as what we saw in this video that happened, that Samara acted on, the confusion, and that led to me in the past, being raped by multiple white women. So really, we are definitely children, and this is why we should use the correct terms. It's rape. It's not correct. White people know it's not correct. At least the honest ones. So we should definitely stop this behavior. We should stop allowing ourselves to be experimented on, which is a excellent segue to read what I actually mean by this experimental sex, which is the only kind of sex that white people have with non-white people. The rape, the kinds of rapes that white people have against non-white people. So this is from page 32. And this was also mentioned in the ISIS papers a little bit, I believe, in chapter 2. But anyway, this is from Pieces of a Puzzle, page 32. Experimental sex relates to all kinds of sex, anal sex, oral sex. Furthermore, it includes an act known as the golden shower, urinating on a person for pleasure, and group sex, multiple partners. Experimental sex can also involve oral sex, sex with food, and bondage, tying one up. Based on research from this book, these were based on the research for this book, these were the kinds of sexual experiments Black people were engaging in with white people, who are really the adults. Having sex outside in cars and parks, alleys, and school, and on the job is considered experimental sex. Research also concluded that white people who choose not to see Black people as people. This explains why they have everyone, including themselves, using terms like Blacks and whites. When they are referring to people, this is done so that Black people will not see themselves as people. Instead, shades of color. Black people are under the domination of white supremacy, racism, are seen as things or objects that can be experimented with and or played with. And we definitely see that in how they engage with us and what they call sex. It's not, if we have been convinced that, you go to area 3 is a large reason of why there's so much confusion in area 8, because all these areas tie in together. Area 3 entertainment is a powerful force that trains Black people, non-white people really, really early on how to just be a victim, essentially, and how to just be I shouldn't say a victim, because nothing, it's not our fault that we're victims, but just how to be focused on all the wrong things, I should say. For example, we're taught that you go to the club, you meet a cute, hot person, whether it's in this case, whether it's a Black person or not, you meet a person and you guys have a just so-called one-night stand, that is not you gotta have a one night stand in the car somewhere. That is not real sex. That is experimental sex. Because as Connor racist science and Connor racist language says, sex is um the just constructive interactions between males and females, and
Not to
these
mention all of the possible STDs,
oh
from all of those one night stands.
oh yeah, and yeah, if we miss the victim of racism, Samara, she has a video talking about her experience with genitalia herpes, and I suspect she may have contracted that from a white person, but I may be incorrect. And tragically enough, I also know a victim, female victim, black victim of racism who contracted an STD from a white person in college. Herpes as well. And that's lifelong illness from from being trained and worshiping the white phallus and the white body. And it's not their fault, it's just the power of white supremacy, the power of white people.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Lest we not forget Jason Roger Pope, the infamous white supremacist DJ out in South Carolina, who I believe he sex trafficked nearly 700 black girls. And if I recall correctly, he spreaded AIDS to a number of black women also, black females, pardon me. So these things are not widely talked about. So Pieces of a Puzzle by Renethi Tate, it's a great piece of work.
Yeah, I agree. It's very, very necessary text, and just the dangers of Area 8 for a victim who does not understand what we're dealing with is I like to say, because I think it's true, that if you are engaged with a white person and you're a victim of racism, if you're engaged with them sexually, romantically, that's I think that's a sure way to find yourself either in a mental ward, the grave, or greater confinement. It's just a matter of time. But okay, so I want to hammer in on how we are not what we often like to call ourselves, what we often too much see us calling ourselves. We are not men or women. We are prisoners of war, victims of racism, children of war, babies. That's what the white supremacists have made us, have conditioned us to be. And Samara is a black female who I think is there's many more who have been successfully programmed in her manner of thinking. If you explore that TikTok, you will see how she's a victim who has been a victim for 20 years. She's 20 years old. And I watched the video of her discussing how she's over it. She's done looking for love. She spent a lot of time looking for love. She thought she wasted her youth looking for love. She's 20 years old and she found a perfect guy. But it turns out that she has the perfect guy now, but she doesn't want him. And she was just talking like literal just confused nonsense but that is what we have been programmed with. And I'm gonna read this on page 33 just to hammer in why how that thinking occurred, because that's just a giant fantasy. Like, love does not exist in the system of white supremacy. There's no such thing as love. Black males are trained to think that we're gonna find the perfect relationship, the perfect arrangement, the perfect love, and that's gonna make us happy, and that's gonna give us all the comfort we need to exist. But it's never gonna happen as long as we are in a system of white supremacy. And the white supremacists have injected our brain computers, our minds, our psyches with fantasies. We exist on lies and fantasies and wanting to feel good and a bunch of incorrect stuff. So page 33, Miss Tate says, through the skillful use of deceit and or direct violence, the white people who practice white supremacy force all people classified as non-white to function as children in all of their relationships with people classified as white. Black females know this is true. Why else would they constantly demand Black males to be a man? This is a problem. The problem is that Black females refuse to accept the fact that racists have reduced them to function as girls and not women. Black girls are in a big time fantasy about relationships and marriages. The code says it is cruel and unjust for those white people who practice white supremacy and who are collectively the smartest and most powerful people on the planet to continue to take unjust sexual advantage of subjugated, deprived, and comparatively ignorant and silly people, non-white people. To do so is equivalent to grown persons taking advantage of babies. The code says any person non-white who is directly or indirectly subject to white supremacy racism is a child. It is not possible for a person non-white to be subject to white supremacy and be a man or a woman. And
Hey, 05,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
really quick before you go any further, that last little bit that you just read, the code says any person non-white who is directly or indirectly subject to white supremacy racism is a child. If there's any non-white person out there in the known universe that disagrees with that, ask yourself if you're still dealing with quote unquote childhood issues right now in your adulthood. So that was a worthy note, sir. That's all I had.
Yeah. I was gonna end it there. And on top of that, I asked myself, who literally controls, the level of money I am able to have, who controls where I live, who has all the guns, who has all the money and power, and who do you have to go to when you need help? Whose system are you living in? Well, like what? There's so many questions one can ask themselves when we're trying to figure out, like, are you a child? Do you really have the power to not have a race soldier, law enforcement come into your dwelling and snatch you away for whatever reason the white people say? Can you really control how much you have to give white people every month to exist? Do you have to pay white people to exist? Yes, if the answer is yes, then you may be in some sort of incorrect position. And especially you have to ask, if I'm just the logic, we have to ask for permission. When I was a kid, I used to like, Mom, can I go outside? I had to ask for permission to do things because I knew I was a small kid then. But then when I became an older victim of racism, I thought I was whatever a man was, and I already didn't think being a man was too much something constructive, so I didn't really care to be a man. But when someone called me that, I was like, yeah, whatever, I guess I am. I don't, But as I got less confused, I realized, oh, it makes sense. I'm not a man because, I wouldn't be in this system where I keep seeing Black people get destroyed, whether it's through not having food in their bellies or whether it's from having bullets shot through their bellies. I'm seeing Black people killed constantly. And if I was a man, I would be able to do something about this. But I can't because I'm just a victim, prisoner of war. So we are children, and we should be very serious about not wanting to be children anymore. We should want to get serious about solving the problem. And it could be as simple as just talking about it, no longer having sex with white people. I'm not gonna go to the bedroom with you. You're a white person. You may be you're a suspected racist. You may harm me. Actually, you are harming me by not solving this problem right away. So get to the solving the problem, and or help me solve the problem, and then maybe we talk about the bedroom. But we got to solve this problem ASAP. And as being children, we don't have any power, but the white people have retarded us so much that they don't have to go into our homes anymore and snatch us up and forcibly penetrate us anymore. They don't have to do that. They could, buy us some sweet poison they call food, and then take us home on a nice comfy bed and penetrate us there and rape us there. But so they don't have to deal with the overt way anymore, but it's still rape, and it's kind of one of our few bargaining chips. It's one of the few things that we have control over. We still have to invite them in anyway, even though they're really good at choosing us and convincing us to take them to the bedroom. We still have that very, very tiny little control of, being able to say, you know what, I'm not gonna have sex with a white person. White supremacy is still going on. I think I would rather solve the problem.
Yeah, why do you think the board game Monopoly is so popular? They control everything.
Yep.
Even though I
Every
don't want to leave out white women, even what Ray just said when he mentioned Monopoly, there's a little white guy. That the image of Monopoly is a little white guy, but don't want to leave out white women, of course.
Yeah, a little white guy in a top hat. So, and also to further emphasize why we should not have sex with white people, not just because it's incorrect and that they are exerting racist energy, racial aggression towards us when they're having sex with us, when they're raping us, but it further retards us, it further niggerizes us, it further takes us away from solving the problem, because it can mess us up. It can be really traumatic, like it was for Samara, where she's on TikTok, not being able to deal with the problem constructively, and not trying to solve the problem at all. Or it could, lull us further into the confusion of thinking white supremacy is not as bad, or it's not in effect, or it's taking a vacation, or it's getting better, because it's not actually. It's not. It's always getting worse. The system is always getting worse for Black people, non-white people across the planet. So it brain trashes us, which is a term used in the counter racist lexicon. It's what it does to us. It retards us, and we have already been sabotaged to a high degree. And I'm gonna let Miss Tate emphasize this point yet again. This is on page 41. Research in the area of sex between white men and Black females revealed that many white men who choose to engage in sex with non-white girls can and have licked oral sex then right into being a lesbian. The Black male misconfused will lick right into confusion about her own sexuality. Racist white people have experimental sex with Black people. This type of sex usually has a devastating mental effect on Black people. It is the racist white men and women who teach Black females and males who are comparatively children how and what to do sexually with people. The racists are far more experienced with sex than any non-white person on this planet. I also found after talking to these white men, many of their arrangements with non-white females will last 3 months to a year. I asked these white men many questions concerning white women and what white women were doing in the bedroom with them. The white men did not give out any details. They just said white women were boring in bed. So what does this mean? Well, it could mean that white women do not allow white men to do all the things black females allow white men to do to her in the bed. If it is true that white women are boring in bed, it explains the reason why large numbers of white men encourage, engage in sex with large numbers of non-white girls in secrets. I once heard a white man saying, "You ain't a man until you have slept with a black woman. Black women will do any damn thing in bed because she's too scared not to." The racist white man will sometimes tell everyone, white women and black males, except black females, what the black girls do in bed with them. Now, many non-white females do not know what is being said about her behind her back by white men. So the sex act between white men and black girls, all ages, is really not a secret. So this is why we should avoid sex with white people 100% of the time, because not only does the white female get energy from the sexual rape, they get to enjoy whatever they're enjoying. I'm not a white person. I don't know what they're getting, but I'm sure they're getting something if they're doing it. So not only are they doing that, but then they're going around and practicing racism some more with the spreading of the act. White people, they don't tell us how they maintain the system of white supremacy. They don't tell us how to solve the race problem or eliminate the system of race and white supremacy, but they'll tell each other and tell us how they are raping us in the bedroom. That is, very, very incorrect. Some would even call it so-called disrespectful, but I don't like to use that term. Any thoughts?
I kind of want to go back to the part about how we are children from the code book. I think it's important to mention that. On page 281, the question, during the existence of white supremacy, when exactly is a non-white person sexually mature? Answer, at no time. During the existence of white supremacy, all non-white people are forced to function as children, and the white supremacists are their illegitimate race parents. As a subject child of the white supremacist, no non-white person can function as a mature person in any area of activity, including sex. And yeah, she sounded, the young lady in the TikTok video, Samara, sounded like a very small child when she was explaining her traumatic experience with the white guy raping her. And I was just, it was very heartbreaking to watch it. I've watched it about 2 times and twice, yeah. And it's very traumatic to listen to and watch. And I also want to do another one from 282. Question, when is it best and correct for a white person to engage in sexual intercourse and or sexual play with anyone, white or non-white? Answer, after white supremacy no longer exists. Let's go back to what you were saying earlier. Until then, it is best and correct for sincere white people to practice so-called religious sexual abstinence in order to best help produce energy and focus on ending racism, white supremacy. I just want to read those 2.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss B. That is yep, not sexually. We don't even have, I can't even comprehend what sexually mature would even look like, just seeing the amount of degradation that has been produced in Area 8 and especially in my just and my highly niggerized and confused youth having access to um just area 8 sites. You should know what I'm talking about. Seeing all those titles, all the like incest area 8 videos, seeing all the stepbrother and stepsister and stepmother and stepchild, like all that stuff that is filmed in area 8 for enjoyment for amongst white people should be very telling of the kind of sickness we are dealing with. It's kind of incorrectness we are dealing with, because why is white people producing that kind of content? I see Sarah wants to chime in, so please go ahead.
Yeah, I have some experiences from today with Yurugu, where everything that has been said from the book and from the Ray 0526 and Miss Helen B, I heard him say, and this is a white male from Italy, classified himself as a Italian. And I have a list of notes that I took during the conversation. But on one occasion, he mentioned that he wanted to get a female that he saw on the street and tie her up without permission, put Tabasco sauce on the condom, and quote unquote heat up the chimney. So he talked about, and then afterwards he saw another female that he was drawn to. He said, "I want to rape her." And then I asked him a few questions, and then he told me a bit about white females, about his neighbor, who he has footage of her having intercourse with a dog. So and he made it he made it important to mention that she was from Australia, and hopefully I'll be able to attain the proof. But very interesting, Yurugu. Definitely they are aware of what they're doing in the bedroom. He mentioned wanting to rape women on multiple occasions, verbally and confidently, and he also catcalls women personally, and he's very attracted to young girls. And the area 8 I work in, I often meet very, very incorrect Yurugus. So I wanted to chime in and just share some things that I learned from the voice and the mind of a functioning white supremacist, I suspect.
Who was this person? It was it's just really interesting how he's just so comfortable in discussing that topic in that manner. But I'm reminded of the interview we did with Blonde Said Diab, and how he reported how his work area people were always making a sexual joke, and just having white people were having consistently having sexual conversations, discussing sexually graphic things. So I think that's just what they like to spend their speech on, their speaking on, I suspect. But what was this person? He's a random white person, or
this is a person who I met while on set once, who invited me for coffee, another racist activity, and also wanted to show me how he lives in London, which also involved him buying cigars and smoking cigars quite frequently, so which shows his insecurities. But he was a potential collaborator on the film, but it's very obvious that I can never have this person on my set, because he just I'm pretty sure he hates women, and I'm pretty sure he's a he also mentioned having a relationship.
What kind of, like, when you say woman, does he hate white women, or does he?
I think all females.
Okay.
Also was several times where he told a story of a 12-year-old female sliding notes underneath his door.
Um. Yeah. I need to comment on the just really sick experiment. Like earlier, I read what experimental sex was, and it's how white people choose to rape us. If you didn't catch that, watch it later. And on the video, but that is a really graphic example of experimental sex because he thought out this act, or he probably saw it on some sick website that he probably is traversing with his time and energy, which suspected racists often do. I'm sure, but that is really sick, and I'm glad we have that on the record, because that should be a black female, black male hears that, they should be like, what, he wants to penetrate me with he wants to have my insides burning. That sounds it sounds horrific. Is that what they're feeling inside? Is that I don't know. I probably not, but why else would he want to, why not why else, but why would he want to inflict that on someone? And isn't so it's so insane and insanely vile, but this is what we should be expecting. This is what we should expect. Go ahead, Mr. Sid.
Well, what else I would like to share is that he whenever he spoke, I would try to get more information out of something that he said, and then I would ask for some type of proof. So he also kept mentioning that he really likes young girls, and the legal age in London is 16. And so I asked him, have you ever been with a 16-year-old girl? And his response was that the legal age is 16. So and this suspected white supremacist, this person basically works in an area where he's able to do photo shoots with young girls, and promise them some sort of exposure via his access to high fashion and high jewelry. But if I remember more, I will share more. But it was full of roasting moments. The first thing was he had to have the coffee. Then right after that, he had to have the long brown cigar. And throughout this whole experience, like, he was catcalled, young females. And it's not my job to attempt to control a white supremacist. I was simply observing and trying to learn more about this behavior.
Well said and understood. Thank you. I think it's an excellent segue into the infinite incorrect happenings on planet Earth involving sex. This can be found on page 44. And here we go. Sex is used by white people to keep black people mentally weak. When I was engaging sexually with white people in high school, when I was highly niggerized, victimized, they were not we were playing video games together like 24/7, but they were surrounded by books. Not once did they say, hey, so you wanna like read this book, Ender's Game, they just they just allow me to be a happy nigger playing video games, being raped by the racist women. So I was kept extremely mentally weak because I was with someone I did not even care to be with. I was just there because I wanted the comfort. I wanted the comfort and access to food, because I was 17 at the time, well 16 going on 17 at the time, living in living homeless, but I experienced that very early in my existence, being down bad, having to be with a white person for food. So I was kept very mentally weak. So I'm going to keep reading. Not only are Black females keeping their sex arrangements with white people a secret, but Black males will not always talk about their sexual arrangements with white people either. A 37-year-old Black male very close to me told me how this white man made passes at him while he was at work. It was an older white man who offered my Black male friend money if he would go to a hotel room with him. This kind of mess is happening, and I am outraged. And every Black female who has offspring should be outraged over this kind of bullshit. This is called sex exploitation that is going on in secret by the devil, white people, against Black people and other non-white people. And non-white people alike. I say devil because white people call themselves the devil. Now, this kind of shit is going on while at the same time, white and Black people are walking around day to day as if everything is normal, like peace is in existence. And many Black people lie to themselves and everyone else, saying that they are happy, but in secret, white people are sexually abusing the hell out of Black males and female. This kind of mess would not happen if Black people were truly man and woman. So this is a excellent passage. I think that this the clip, Samara, her clip, like she was raped by a white man, it still can't even register that in her mind computer that is what happened, and that is tragic, that is we have been so subjugated, so conditioned, so brought down, so degraded to a state where we can't even comprehend that we have been raped. Because thinking back on my sexual encounters with white women being raped by white women, I could definitely see how those interactions was rape, and how the energy exchange was they're probably enjoying this way more than I am. That's definitely what it felt like. And that's because that's the truth, when a victim has sex with a white person, they gain very little, because I say very little because material comfort and trinkets, they cannot be worth whatever the damages that occurs from, being raped by white people repeatedly. It cannot be constructive.
Being a non-white Black female growing up, I remember the first books that I was introduced to were Snow White, Cinderella, etc. And in all those books, the Prince Charming was white. So there goes the beginning of the conditioning and programming. And then when you look at TV, all the programs were of white people, white kids, and all the kiddie programs, supposed to be teaching you about your ABCs, 1, 2, 3, and it's nothing but white people. They might have one non-white Black child sprinkled in there, but for the most part, most of the TV shows that I watched were white people. So thank the creator that I didn't have a great I didn't have like a crush or admiration to be with a white boy. I thank the creator for that. But I definitely saw their lives to be better. At least I thought that, their lives were better than mine. And I would love to have the so-called American dream, right? A house with the white picket fence and 2.1 kids, or however it goes. So yeah, definitely want that image. Definitely wanted that image as a child. But now, as I'm older, no. That's all for now.
Thank you for sharing. And yeah, and that thought pattern is increased, I suspect, when there is like Barbie dolls thrown into the mix. You know, when you bring home a any sort of thing that resembles, like, you know, what a nuclear family, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean or be. There's no such thing as a black family in a system of racism. How you gonna have a fat like a household of children? You know, who's the mom and a dad when everyone's a child? You know, who's the husband and a wife when everyone is a child? So this is why things that enforce those ideas of marriages and like relationships and all that stuff is destructive, and it leads to black people thinking that they can engage in the bedroom with white people, and nothing bad is going to happen when the whole situation is incorrect. It shouldn't be happening in the first place. So I'm going to continue on page 44. The secret sexual exploitation committed by white people against black people is incorrect. The code says white people who engage in sex acts with non-white people are the biggest child abusers on the planet. This is the kind of mess that many black females who have offsprings cannot protect them from. The code states any white person who chooses to have sex with non-white girls and boys are racist white supremacists. Racist white men and women pretend to be God, and they teach black people that they are God just so that they, white people, can have the pleasure and comforts of having sex with black boys and girls. Now, what kind of bullshit is this? This is the undercover bullshit that is going on among white people against non-white people in secret. And this kept a secret because non-white people and white people keep it a secret. White people keep it a secret because they're masters of secrets, masters of lies, masters of deception. And black people are just confused and afraid to tell the truth. So very different reasons, very different conditionings, very different programmings. One indicating awesome power, one indicating immense pity. So let's and I have to add that going through this victim's TikTok, you will see that she's what has been called white identified. You know, she esteems for to be essentially a white person. And she has white values. She thinks she has white features. I saw a video where she said that she had a transatlantic slave nose. And I've noticed that people, a correlation between being white identified, worshiping white people, like repeatedly engaging in bed with white people, that you are often anti-black or like carrying a lot of self-hate, like you really just don't like black people. And so I'm gonna put on just some pictures on the screen showing the state of us being victims of racism, non-white people, black people, anyone who is not white. And we have been conditioned, tricked, brainwashed, brain trash into worshiping and loving white people. And this is happening in large numbers. This is just a small pocket. This is just a small glance at what is taking place. And also, this is the only ones that are putting this in like in the physical, I can only imagine how prevalent these thoughts are in victims' minds that we're going to be reading. So let me find one.
Real quick, I noticed it sounded like a disassociation when she was talking. Like I wasn't sure. Oh, I understand that she was traumatized and that she was raped, but how she was talking, the anti-blackness just came through so strong, so heavy. I
Oh,
wasn't even sure.
oh yeah, actually, because we do have folks who maybe he just tuned in. I'm gonna play it again right now because I have to mention something else. I have to mention something else about this clip. So I'm gonna play it again. I know Seth joined late, so maybe he'll want to chime in as well. So I'm gonna play the clip one more time, and then we'll share some words again.
Like a really traumatic situation where this guy, where he was just like so fucking horrible to me, and he just treated me like a stupid black bitch, and it was like so painful for me, and everybody was like, well, you're the fucking dumbass because you stayed, and you're just a stupid black bitch because you let him treat you like one. And like, I know that the situation was my fault because I should have just left, but like, it really fucking hurt because like I had sex with him and he basically just like used me for sex. He was like white guy in a frat, and so basically I ended up seeing him at Target when I was there with my old best friend like at the time, and he wouldn't look me in the eyes, he wouldn't say anything. It was like he was ashamed of me and just like embarrassed, which is like how most people get about me, and it was like so fucking painful. And so I stood up for myself and said what I needed to say to him, and he ran away from me when I was speaking to him. And my friend was like, that's humiliating, like she was like, you just embarrass yourself, and like that's pathetic for you as a black woman to do something that stupid. Like, it hurt so fucking bad because I wasn't even worth being looked in the eye. Like, it hurt so fucking bad. And looking back, and that was the guy who, like, when I asked him to stop during sex, he held me down. Like, that happened a few months after the Target situation. And I was, like, telling my friends, I was like, I'm just fed up.
All right, I don't think we, again, after this experience, she met up with him. After she raped her, after he raped her, she met up with him again. But that I kind of already touched on that. But it's just that the confusion here is tragic because first, how many of us here have so-called friends that call us stupid bitches, stupid black bitches? How many of us have friends that so-called friends that do that? I'm gonna allow folks to answer the question.
I've heard that thrown around a number of times, quite a few today.
But do you have any?
I've heard it as well.
The question
I don't.
is, okay, yeah. The question was, do you have any so-called friends that call you stupid bitches? That's the question. Go ahead, Sid.
Oh,
I wanted to comment before I answer the question. No, let me actually answer the question first. I don't have friends that call me a stupid bitch, but in my school, there is a culture of students calling each other like, "Oh, you're a bitch, my bitch, you're a bitch." When I was called a bitch, I told them to call me by my name. I'm not a child. I don't talk to people like that, so don't talk to me like that. So I corrected it, and I wasn't called a bitch again by these people in my cohort in this graduation program. And I wanted to comment on the video. I've actually seen this clip quite a few times around the same time it was circulating. I guess it went viral. But I think the brain trashing is much deeper than we could probably fathom, because I suspect that when she says like, oh, he's in a frat, I sense that she's like proud that she was like with a white male that was in a frat. And she's like just so confused and broken by the situation. And this is just a prime example of why every non-white Black person should totally be reading the code, the ISIS papers, and pieces of a puzzle, because these books really allow non-white Black people to understand the system of racism, white supremacy, and to have tools to prepare them for this, like, very, very racist society we live in.
Thank you for your input. And yeah, I think you may be correct. I definitely pick up on that the first 3 times I watched this video. Wow. May be correct. Folks who would like to answer the question, go ahead.
To answer your question, no, I've never been called that. An associate tried to call me the B word, and that did not go well. It didn't end in the argument, but it didn't go well. And no, I don't allow anybody to call me outside of my name, or unless I tell you a nickname, unless you're like a attentive family member, other than that, no. Also notice what I want to point out about this video. When she uses those terms, when relaying the story, she mentions stupid Black bitch with a big ass or whatever. Notice how it doesn't sound like she's talking about herself. It sounds like she's calling someone that. I don't know. Can you get what I'm saying? Like, do you hear this association when she uses that term?
I suspect that as well. I feel like there's a lot of dissonance between her and herself being classified as Black, and her not wanting to admit that this is her interpretation of what he thought of her as being the quote unquote stupid Black bitch. But it seems like she's really used to this language. She probably practices. She's probably been confused to the point where she probably refers to Black females as, stupid bees and dumb bees, because she probably has been trained by her, the white male who she was raped by probably trained her to practice what he practiced, which is mistreating Black people, name calling Black people.
Exactly. Correct. Thank you for putting it. You put it way better than I could ever do. Thank you for that. Thank you for the help.
No problem.
Hey, right. That is pieces of a puzzle, like sex from being raped by a white person damages the mind greatly, especially if one never attempts to come from under it, or if the programming cements that deeply in the consciousness. Probably it's too late. So I think we can get into the other clips that I'm going to share, furthering the study on the dangers and confusion surrounding Area 8 sex. So let me, but anyone have other comments, thoughts on victim of racism, Samara, and
I just want to go back to when I first saw this video. I saw this video when I was deep into the book Pieces of the Puzzle, and the whole time I was watching this, I was just thinking every Black female on planet Earth needs to read the book and understand that it is not a fairy tale relationship that they've been trained to think it is via entertainment, via cartoon, television, and films and books. They will not be saved by white males. They will only be victimized and used as props and used as used to commit crimes. I just saw a report where a Black female was sentenced to 13 years in prison for money laundering. Her and her husband embezzled 15. Her white husband embezzled $15 million, and now they're both in prison. He got 1 year more than her, 14 years, and she got 13 years. This is just it didn't break my heart because my heart was born inoperable, considering the planet Earth is dominated by a racist man and racist woman. I did think that this person was probably beyond repair, considering that they're probably living in a highly white area, and the vernacular that they use shows me that they come from an area where they're interfacing with white people a lot, and they are trying to sound white. If that's a thing, I don't think this person is an Oreo. I think this person is operating and attempting to operate as a white person by dating males and calling Black females bitches.
Yeah, I don't think she's trying to sound white. I think she has been subjugated and victimized into that to using like that kind of speech, and thought. So I know she's not trying to. That's just what she's been made by the system, I suspect. It's just so maybe she once upon a time she did used to have to practice trying to sound like a so-called valley girl, but
It's a
yeah.
highly victimized defense mechanism. A highly victimized defense mechanism. She's mimicking what's victimizing her in an effort to get through.
Well said, Mr. Ray 1/0. Okay. So furthering the dangers and confusion surrounding this area 86, let's look at a case. This case is very recent. It happened. I don't want to spread false information, so maybe we should report on when it happened. But we're gonna watch a bit of this. Let's just go to it.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Demetra K of the Demetra K Show here on YouTube, and a proud contributor of the African Diaspora News Channel and the African Diaspora News Insider. If you could please do me a favor and subscribe to all channels and like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. So this unfortunate story is coming to us from Italy, where Pierangelo Pellizzar decided to murder his wife, Amenzi Rita. Now, he was 61 and she was 31. And she decided to file for divorce from him, and he didn't like it, and so he decided to kill her. Now, what he did was he waited for her outside of her job at about 7:30 in the morning and shot her 4 times in front of her co-workers until, she was dead, unfortunately. And so he ran away. But fortunately, they did arrest him. But I want to say this. I don't think dating anybody should cost you your life, or being married to somebody and then wanting to divorce them should cost you your life. But, again, all I could just say is this, sisters, a lot of times we, and I'm speaking in general, we think that, somebody else's man is better than our own man. We got all these gripes and complaints about the Black man, but then he go to white man. I don't care if he's an international zaddy. We got, going over there trying to get with them, and they doing the same, if not worse, to us, right? And, he'll probably get a slap on the wrist. But my thing is this, sisters, y'all can't spot crazy when you see it. Don't this man look crazy? I mean, what about him was attractive? They said he was unemployed, so he's probably a bum, and a lot of times, us sisters, we get enamored because he's white, or he's this, or he's that. He's something other than, our Black man. But as y'all can see, that's never the way to go, right? And so again, y'all, let's start loving our Black men, trying to figure out how to get along with them so we don't end up dead in a parking lot. Okay, show here on YouTube. Peace.
Thank you, Miss Demetra K, victim of racism as well. highly appreciate this report and just her understanding, minus the use of men and women, like calling black males and black females men and women. That is not correct. And also this love concept has yet to be proven on planet Earth, but definitely a constructive message that she's giving. And I said earlier, being I suspect being in the bedroom with white people, if you are a non-white person, can lead to only three things: the grave, the mental ward, or greater confinement, known as prison. And unfortunately, this victim of racism was killed by a white man, her so-called white husband. And I want to discuss something. He was 61, she was 31 or 30. 20-year age gap, 20-year difference. No, actually 30 years. See, I'm so retarded. I've been so niggerized and retarded by the system that I can't even do simple math. But it's a 30-year age difference. If this is not this is a huge example that I think that white people definitely are child rapists, because she could easily been this person's father or race father, and this person being 60 and she being 30, he knows what's up. He knows how to woo the lady. He knows how to convince them, apparently, even as a homeless white person. And him being a so-called I'm not homeless, but him being an unemployed white man just goes to show you the power of white supremacy, the power of just being a white man and just having the system do most of the work for you by already making the victims worship you via all 9 areas of people activity. They have to go through you. And in area 3, entertainment, being consistently being exposed to white men, white females, white women being like the best, the greatest, like the hottest, the most badass, the most kick-ass, being consumed by these messages 24/7 is why victims of racism, such as this one who met her demise by this racist, this is why we gravitate towards them, because we have been trained since birth. And white people are not confused. They know how to get us to do most things that they want us to do, if not everything. But any comments on this clip, on this tragic arrangement that ended tragically and expectedly?
To be expected. This black female certainly was not on code by being with a white male, and also being a white male that was, has been on planet Earth twice for the twice amount of time that she's been on planet Earth. I find that highly suspicious. And this is not the first time I've heard of a black female being murdered by a white male after attempting to leave. And 0526, I certainly agree with what you said about, if you're in a relationship with a person who classifies themselves as white, you may very well find yourself in the ward, jail, or dead. It's very unfortunate, but and there's so many films as well. Area 8, they're not afraid of telling you what happens. There's a film where a white woman tries to sexually target a black male, and she tries to rape him on multiple occasions. So they're aware. And when I was working at this restaurant in Oakland, California, a vegan restaurant, I would see a lot of sugar daddies and sugar babies. And I would see very, very old white males coming in with young non-white females. And some of them would be non-white people, classified as like red, brown, and yellow, and some of them would be black. It was every single day. And you can tell that it was a sugar baby because they would have their arms wrapped around their waist. They would be kissing while they're ate, and it would just be really. I could tell that the females were in some sort of relationship, but it had to be based on some economic dependency. And it's always white males. I've never seen a black male with a young female wrapped around his waist who is like double. I mean, like just so young.
Yeah, that reminds me of like Seeking Arrangements is a website where white people are able to arrange that's exact arrangement with non-white females very easily. So she may have been a so-called sugar victim baby, sugar victim baby who did this white man could not, of course. See, what we have to understand that I suspect we're dealing with racist white supremacists are parasitic by nature, and sometimes the parasite will kill the host if it can no longer feed off of it. And this is what happened in this case. He could no longer. The black female she tried to rid herself of the parasite. She tried to get the parasite away from her. But what did the parasite do? It killed her, because some parasites can grow too big. No, the white parasite has formed planet Earth, gotten so ginormous that it expects total submission, total obedience from its subjects, from victims of racism, from non-white people. And we attempt to call out the parasite or call out racist white supremacies, cleanse ourselves of the parasite, sometimes it will kill us. Case in point. And I don't know if this is a metaphor or nigger rants, because I am still highly confused and victimized, but
it's all relative.
Thank you, sir. Thoughts on this clip? Oh, maybe that also, this is a good example of how white people choose us. We often like think that we as victims like found the perfect partner, and he just happens to be white. We just stumbled upon each other and she just happened to be white. You go on Instagram, and Instagram is a very particular racist tool that loves tormenting me, because it's always showing me interracial relationships of just big smiles and just big white smiles and big black smiles, and it's just totally incorrect. But we think that we find these people and we decide to be with them, but the reality is that 10 times out of 10 it's the white people who choose us. This guy was 60, she was 30. He was able to choose her, and the average black female is highly attractive as far as I'm concerned. So he was able to acquire an attractive black female with minimum effort, it looks like. And that's because he was the power of being able to choose. He's a white man, they could choose. White women, they choose. And the next two clips involve that the white person choosing us, because we never choose them. They decide to practice this maximum degree of racism towards us, which is to rape us repeatedly while calling it a marriage, a fling, a romance, or whatever new terms they come up with to get away with raping us in the bedroom, in the car, the park, wherever. So let's get to the next clip. So
I'm here to do the boyfriend / husband, in my case, / fiance tag. Everyone, this is my fiance. Say hello.
Hey.
Hey. So, you ready?
I guess.
Yes. No deals. Let's see if I'm ready.
Can I get a cheat sheet?
No, you don't get no cheat sheet.
Okay.
I feel like my phone is not working in this raggedy place.
Why is it gotta be raggedy?
Because it's raggedy. Question number 1. Where did we meet?
Facebook.
Dang, can you elaborate? That's like...
We met on.
So people won't think that we're like crazy.
Okay, so all right, so okay, I was overseas,
Mm-hmm.
and my niece had begged me to make a Facebook account, so I finally made one, and I could search. So I searched like for my graduating class.
Yes, because we went to the same high school,
Graduated same
graduated in the same class and everything, but
didn't know each
didn't
other.
know each other. And our high school was huge, so that's pretty common.
So I was searching through friends, saw some friends, and I saw Gabrielle, who looked, oh my God, so good.
Oh my goodness.
So I sent her a stalker message,
He stalked.
and
He stalked me.
well, she was hooked from the get go.
No. He wore me down. No, I'm just
That's right.
playing.
I paid her off. I sent her a
funny.
check that week.
Whatever. Question number 2. What was our first date?
I appreciate this clip because it's, within 2 minutes we get straight to the white power, the incorrectness. It is funny because when he said it, it kind of seems like he like he slipped up, like, oh whoa, I said a little too much just now, or well, being a little too honest right now. Maybe I've been a
I
little
want to
too
see that
honest.
moment. Can you replay? I want to see that his reaction to after he said it.
All right.
The whole clip. You can play the whole clip if you want to. I would appreciate that as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's play it again.
Why is it gotta be raggedy?
Because it's raggedy. Question number 1. Where did we meet?
Facebook.
Dang, can you elaborate? That's like...
We met on.
So people won't think that we're like crazy.
Okay, so all right, so okay, I was overseas,
Mm-hmm.
and my niece had begged me to make a Facebook account, so I finally made one, and I could search. So I searched like for my graduating class.
Yes, because we went to the same high school,
Graduated
in the same class and everything, but
didn't know each other.
And our high school was huge, so that's pretty common.
So I was searching through friends, saw some friends, and I saw Gabrielle, who looked, oh my God, so good.
Oh my goodness.
So I sent her a stalker message,
He stalked.
and
He stalked me.
well, she was hooked from the get go.
No.
She was hooked from the get go. He caught his fish. He went fishing. He saw a fish that he liked. Hook, line, I think it's hook, line, and sinker. What they say, white people say, I don't know, but he has her now. And I didn't catch that he was a vet the first time. I didn't catch that he was my bad. I shouldn't say vet because I'm a veteran myself. I've been a veteran for 30 years in a war being waged against me called race and white supremacy. So I should say race soldier because I'm sure he was working for the white supremacists and harming non-white people wherever he was, overseas, so-called. So I imagine this white man is coming back from overseas with a lot of probably trauma, baggage, and he's gonna be like freaking out, spazzing out, and this black female is gonna have to, care for him, console him, help him with his issues. I may be incorrect, but that's what I suspect. And a white woman may not be as caring as he would like for this particular job that he wants done, and him being taken care of by a female. So he chose a black female who will be an excellent battery energy source for him because he's coming from overseas. You know, he made sure we knew that he's coming from overseas. And when I hear that just means, oh, you came from overseas, you probably just kill some people. Now you got problems because of it, you know. But I may be incorrect. I may be just talking about stuff I don't know nothing enough to be talking about. But I'll meet my line, see if folks want to chime in.
Sounds like Chris Kyle from American Sniper. The only difference is he is practicing racism in its greatest form with the sexual incorrectness with a black female. But yeah, that fits the description of these white men that come back from being overseas. They kill for sport all over the world. They always have. So once we get that together and see these people for who they really are, we'll be on our way.
On our way to justice, balance between people, guaranteeing no one is mistreated, and those who need help receive constructive help. A pretty correct system to have on planet Earth. If you think otherwise, perhaps you're a white supremacist, or perhaps you are a highly confused victim, or perhaps you shouldn't be on planet Earth. And I think the next clip is another telling example of how no matter how much comfort a victim has been allowed to have, no matter how much money a victim has been allowed to have, no matter the amazing feats a victim is allowed to achieve, they're still a victim of racism, and they can still be chosen and raped repeatedly over and over. These so-called celebrities are not individuals we should spend a lot of our time and energy on, but this is a very constructive, this is a bit counter-racist business meeting. So for this case, it's very constructive to show how these so-called celebrities are still victims of racism. They are still subjected to the horrendous acts of the highest form of racial aggression, being raped by a white person, are being tricked into a romance with one and thinking that you're in love. That poor Meghan, Prince Charles, directly captured victim. Anywho, we're gonna go to victim of racism.
Wait, 1 second.
Yeah,
there's
go
a
ahead, please.
there's a past video of the couple that you just showed, Babe and Gabe, where the non-white black female, her mother, who is also a non-white black female, attempts to braid their son hair. Oh, now they have 2 children, a boy and a girl. This couple right on the screen right now. And in the past video, the attempted grandmother braids the son's hair, the grandson's hair, and the black female, she says, "Oh, Gabe is not gonna like this," meaning the white man. "Oh, he's not gonna like this. Oh, he's not gonna like this." And when when he finally sees his son's hair, he's like, "Nope, nope." And I wish I could ask him why.
Oh
Why?
my
How did
God.
she know? And what
Oh
was
my
his real thoughts? He didn't really go into it, but he was just like, "No, nope, not doing this to my son." I'm like, very interesting.
So thanks for that, for the insight into this, how this person is practicing racism. I am certain white people, in this case, this white man definitely associated cornrows on his offspring as, oh, he looking too much like my enemy. Hell no, you know, I'm getting flashback.
Exactly.
I'm getting flashback. I may have to, you know, where's my AR? You know, this is even my this is too close to. So that is really in the future we're gonna do more of these dangerous confusion. There will be a dangerous and confusion of Area 8.
And there's other videos where Gabe, the non-white black female, where she's clearly confused, extremely depressed and stressed out over her situation. And she's tired of the question, are her kids her own? And how to answer that, how to respond to that. And she doesn't know. And I'm saying to myself, why doesn't her white mate, why doesn't her white husband, explain to her and tell her, what to say and how to react or whatever. But she's just like frustrated and confused. And it's quite a few videos. Well, oh, no, I won't say quite a few, but there are a few videos with her expressing her confusion, but not understanding that she's confused. And it's
Mhm.
really sad.
Yeah, reminded of Pieces of a Puzzle, Miss Renithia Tate. We become mentally weak. She's probably losing her ability to even think constructively about her situation. She's probably stuck in such a high degree, no, such an intense loop of circular thoughts where like she's really unable to correlate that maybe this white guy, maybe this white man is the root of my problem. Or maybe the system, maybe the entire planet, the entire system I occupying is some way related to my problem. But we become mentally weak when we engage in this type of behavior, especially prolonged, especially procreating with a white person. I'm not a black female, nor can I carry a child, but I can't imagine the cost of carrying a a racist suspect's child in your womb, and I wonder like all the incorrectness stuff that probably could have happened regarding her breastfeeding, and he probably has some type of way about that too or something. Who knows? Is this channel still active, Miss B? Is this arrangement still active? Do you know?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
May I
Not
be heard?
surprised. Yes, Miss Sarah Blue, is that your name?
It's whatever to you.
What would you like to be called?
It's Kara Blue.
Oh, Kara Blue, there you go. Please go ahead.
In regards to that video, when her son had his hair braided, what he said to her mom was that he didn't want, well, he was mad. He yelled at her and said that you made my son look like a thug. I don't want my son to look like a thug. And he was quite angry about it.
Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you. It's been years, but thank you. Yes, he's right.
Yeah. And also I wanted to add about this couple here. Chad, he's known to have a fetish for Black women. So he was married to another Black woman before Gabe. And I remember her saying that the reason why they divorced was because he would call her the N-word and he was always hiring Black prostitutes. So that's what I wanted to add.
Thank you so much, Kara Blue. I highly appreciate the further insight into how this racist. I guess his name is Gabe. What is this racist man's name? Because I think the female is named Gabe. What's his racist man's name? Does anyone know?
Chad?
Who?
No, I don't know.
Chad?
Okay, thank you, Miss Kara. Yeah, that is not surprising, but I wonder if she knows. I wonder if this victim knows about that. I'm sure she. I don't know. I may attempt to see if she like to yeah, just reply some comments. But yeah, damn, this is a really popular channel. So tragic. She did not choose this existence. He definitely chose her and has probably refined himself. I'm sure he's not calling her nigga or nigger or having many slip ups, but regarding the offspring, probably has happened. I can only imagine just the hair raising moment he saw when he saw his black male child and cornrows, you know, or maybe he was like, oh no, this is too dangerous for him because he knows what's up, my kind, my white kind, my suspected racist, they're gonna think he's dangerous with that hairstyle. Perhaps he went into that thinking pattern, but probably further along the lines of being thinking that this black he's too similar to a black male thug. Well, he said a thug, thug is code for nigger. So called his offspring a nigger, and this is why you should not have most certainly should not go to the bedroom with white people, but procreating with one and then having your child's gonna get called nigger by somebody eventually, and this is white supremacy, but having it be the so-called race father, what? That's some incorrectness that we could easily avoid if we just said, no, not going to the bed with a white person. I'm gonna actually the only time I'm interacting with white people is gonna be when I'm forced to go to the plantation, or every other occasion is let's solve the race problem. I'm not going to fucking clubs with you anymore. I'm not fucking going to movie theaters with you anymore. I'm not hanging out with white people anymore. I'm not, period, like on the news or like hanging out in like person, because I understand this system now. I get what you guys have been doing for eons. You guys have been subjugating and retarding us to such a degree, but I figured it out. So no, we're not having sex, and no, we're not coming over to your house to watch Friends. We're not doing none of that anymore. We could solve the race problem and then do something else with our time and energy. But it's either talking about the race problem, solving the race problem, or our interactions with white people should be very limited. I may be incorrect. Maybe this is not how to solve the race problem. Maybe if it's too dangerous saying no, white people we can't, no more sex. Maybe they may just start raping us rapidly like they used to do it, and if that happens, then yeah, we should definitely expect it. I wouldn't be surprised, but at least no one will be confused about what we're dealing with now, and at least their true nature will be out of sight, and they won't be able to sugarcoat the damage they've been doing to us in the bedroom.
Let us not forget the letter after O, but before Q, being added to a certain category, attempting to be legalized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Back to this one. White supremacist kills victim of racism. 30-year age difference. That's right up there with what?
Yeah. When he was 30, how old was she? Where was she at when he was 30?
She wasn't even a concept yet, But so
yeah, they have big plans for us long before we born, in more ways than the one that's being discussed this evening.
Yeah. And before I forget, back to victim of racism, Samara. She doesn't have any friends, especially the associates who are calling her a stupid black bitch. I don't know if I commented on that as much as I wanted to, but that is just a further example of her high degree of confusion. Because first, why would you have a friend allowing you to talk to you in such a manner, and why wouldn't your so-called friend want to be attempting to help you, giving you some constructive suggestions, but no, I'm a stupid black bitch with a big ass is what I'm being called after my rape, and me expressing it. But tragic, and I just saw my note here. I had to mention that. But I'm predicting, and I know that they're trying to take us back to the Roman era, where it was no problem to go and have sex with children. And it's already no problem in 2021, following counter racist logic, but they really want to go back to that era. And no doubt about it.
Neely Fuller referred that everyone watched Spartacus and Caligula. That's exactly where they want to take it.
Dang. I have seen the more recent Spartacus. In my earlier Confusion days, I did remember seeing a lot of the counter-sexual activities in that show, but I was very highly confused. So I didn't really pay too much attention to it. But perhaps. So, but going back to the white people choosing their victims, who are they gonna further victimize? Because we're already being victimized while being in the system. You know, that's done. That's like happening 24/7. You know, whatever we're exposed to. I see it as a whatever I'm exposed to, I know it's racism, white supremacy. I know it's coded in some manner, shape, or form to maintain a system, to further some sort of thought that supports the system and that niggerizes me, you know, or makes me to be more confused, or it takes me further away from solving the problem. So I'm aware of that and all that I do. So when I don't get caught up in like celebrities and who's doing what, but a lot of people do. A lot of people look to Black females, Black males who have been allowed a lot of money, and they see that they have a white person in the bedroom, and they may be encouraged to do the same. And that's the danger of combining racially showcased with area age confusion, because it, I suspect, convinces a lot of Black females to, you know, want to be with white people. And oh, I forgot, we didn't even do the tweets. Should we do we could probably do it. Okay, let's do this video for educational purpose. We'll be watching this. Another example of being chosen. Serena Williams has a lot of money. She's a lot of money. She's a lot of people wouldn't consider her a victim of racism, despite her being name called a lot in the area of 3 entertainment and her sports. Despite all that mistreatment, they probably still wouldn't consider her to be a powerless victim of racism. But that is what she is, and it's not her fault. So let's get to this video.
How have you been?
I've been well.
Yeah?
Been busy.
Yeah, okay.
Had a busy last year.
Now, you, when did you...
Wait, Helen, do you know if he's gonna mention it in the beginning? All right, what's there a time code?
Oh, I didn't do the time thing, but I think it's fairly early. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I watched this video.
All right, you know, quite early. You know, you said an F word. You know, I said an F word.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say the F word.
So it's okay, y'all. It's okay. The programming is real and deep.
You were married to this lovely...
Important question, how? Because I'm sure Colbert knows the answer to this, but we're not supposed to know. The average victim, the less intelligent white people probably don't know.
What is it exactly that he's accomplished to be sitting there? You know what I'm saying? That's why they view.
I think he's the creator of Reddit. Apparently, he has something to do with the production of Reddit or something like that. The arrangement of Reddit, a website.
Right. But why is he really there? It's like they put the trophy right up on the desk. You heard the standing ovation and everything in the background.
Yep. You know,
like he really championed that, didn't he?
Yeah, and just to add insult to injury, I suppose, the name is Olympia. You know, the offspring name is
amazing.
Olympia. Like, amazing. I'm like
Greco-Roman everywhere.
And I wonder if that was her idea, or did he, you know, implant that idea in Miss Serena Williams' brain computer. But I'm gonna continue. The video. Thank you, Mr. Ray 1/0. Code for, you know, average looking white male. You know, how does an average looking white person end up with a extremely attractive and yeah, I used the word accomplished Black female. Let's see how he did it. Let's see how the white power did it.
History. How does that come about? It's not a natural match.
You know,
This is the sort of.
Damn, there's so much coded language here, but I'm gonna stop. This is my last time pausing it. This is my first time seeing this clip. Natural match. It's not a natural match. They know there's something insane. There's something incorrect about non-white people and white people being together under the system. You know, it's not natural for a person who has made you their enemy, who has declared you as their enemy. It's not natural for y'all to be in a bedroom together. It don't make sense. It makes no logical sense, but it's happening in millions, one day billions of bedrooms if we don't solve this problem ASAP. So continue. Wow. Very, very interesting. Before I comment, I'm gonna read what I read earlier, but just as a refresher reminder, from the code, this is for page 27 of pieces of the paper. From the code, I learned white men who choose to engage in sex with Black females are practicing racism against us through the use of sex. The white Jesus not only used sex in his practice of racism and white supremacy, but he also used deceitful words against me. Now the code states the chief characteristic of a racist man or woman is deceit. Based on that, I realized this white man had planned all along to do this to me. This was his hidden agenda. The code also states as long as racism and white supremacy exists, no Black female or male should have sex with white people. I was raped by a skilled professional rapist. So it's funny how he says that Serena had a secret, had a hidden agenda, his words exactly, but actually he's the one who used deceit and lies to acquire, to choose and capture Serena Williams. I thought that was really, really interesting. And I think Miss Ash has something to oh, never mind.
They just cut off your stream for policy violation.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. All right, thoughts, comments.
Yeah, I had something I wanted to share. I think this is really interesting clip. I also think the only reason why it's on television is to help other suspected white supremacists